After 46 years in sales, here's the most important thing that I have learned. Most people who need to sell fail, not because they can't sell, but because they don't even realize what's really losing the sale. It's not their pitch, not their product. It's not the close. It's a lack of trust. If you don't build it deliberately, if you don't lead with trust building from the very first second of the very first conversation, the sale is already slipping away. If you are an entrepreneur or run your own business, tell me if this rings any bells with you. In his new book, Lifestyle Business Playbook, Daniel Priestley says, entrepreneurship is a fancy word, but it mostly translates to making sales by any means possible in the early days. He goes on to say, you need to experience this harsh reality for yourself close up. If you can't stomach a week of back-to-back sales meetings, you won't make it as an entrepreneur. It's scrappy, it's punchy, and it's gritty. And I would add to that, it causes considerable anxiety. An anxiety in selling that stays with many entrepreneurs for years. But it doesn't have to be like that. Today, I'm going to show you why it happens and exactly how to fix it. In my experience, most people in sales, above all entrepreneurs and business owners, are hardworking, they learn their scripts, they practice their closes, and they study their products. They are not lazy. They crave success. Yet most never reach the results they hoped for. If this is you, whether you're a sales professional or an entrepreneur, you're definitely not alone. It's far more common than you think. And I can tell you from those 46 years of experience, it's almost never because someone can't close. It's not the product, it's not the price. The real reason goes much, much deeper, and I'll tell you exactly what it is. But first, let me give you some perspective. Let me take you back to when I first started in sales. I'd changed careers to become a life insurance salesman. I was excited, full of ambition, and absolutely convinced I'd smash it. 3 months later, I was at the bottom of a table of 110 salespeople. One sale in 3 months. I was days away from being fired. I'd given up a solid, steady job with a regular income, but now I'm driving home each night, terrified about how I'd pay the mortgage or look after my wife and child. And I blamed everyone. I blamed the company, I blamed my manager, and I blamed those stupid clients who couldn't understand why they needed life insurance. I blamed everyone but me. But deep down, I knew the truth. The only person who could get me out of this mess was the same person who got me into it, me. Now, call it luck or divine intervention, but one morning, a customer walked into the office and asked about buying life insurance. That single inquiry saved my job, but it also set me on a path that would eventually change everything. It led me to spend the next 4 decades studying sales, testing systems, reading every book I could find, and coaching thousands of salespeople and also business owners and entrepreneurs. And what I discovered, shocked me. The real reason most salespeople fail isn't skill, it isn't the product they're selling, and it isn't the price of that product. It's that they haven't learned the one ability that holds the entire sales process together. Creating and maintaining trust. Now, before you click away thinking, oh, I already know about trust, stay with me. Because most people think that if you're honest or friendly, or you get on well with people, then trust happens naturally. Of course, those things matter, but they don't automatically earn trust. Your sales process needs to lead with trust. And if you don't earn the prospect's trust, they won't be doing business with you anytime soon. So could this be the real reason you're not closing as many sales as you should be? It seems unthinkable that a client wouldn't trust you when you know you're an honest person. But this is where many people go wrong. Being trustworthy is only the starting point. Everything else has to be demonstrated. Gaining your client's trust should be the single goal of every meeting you have, because everything after that becomes dramatically easier. And in this series of videos, I'm going to show you how to redesign your sales process so it deliberately creates and protects trust, right from the very first conversation to that final handshake. When I finally did that, everything changed. I went from truly struggling to personally generating over £50 million in sales. And here's the best part. selling stopped feeling like a battle. It became enjoyable, natural, and predictable. The anxiety disappeared because I finally trusted my process, a trust-led process. And over the years, I've taught that same process to many others who've seen life-changing results. Once trust is in place, everything becomes easier. You can make small mistakes, even be a bit ordinary, and clients will still want to buy from you, because trust is the most powerful currency you can ever have in sales. Let me give an example of just how powerful it is. When Tesla announced the Model 3, the car didn't even exist yet. No test drives, no reviews, no finished model, and yet within weeks, over 400,000 people placed pre-orders, each of them paying a $1,000 deposit. Just think about that. Hundreds of thousands of customers handed over real money for a car they couldn't even touch, drive, or even see properly. Why? Because they trusted Elon Musk's vision, his mission, his track record, his promise to deliver something revolutionary. That's the power of trust. It made everything else, the features, the specifications, even the product itself, almost irrelevant. And if trust can do that on a global scale, just imagine what it can do in your sales conversations. But here's the catch. Most people think trust just happens. They think that if they are likable, knowledgeable, or enthusiastic, people will automatically trust them. They won't. A lack of trust isn't mistrust, it's indifference. And that's where most prospects live. They're not against you, they just don't yet have reason to trust you. When you understand that, your entire approach to selling changes. Now, by the way, if you want weekly practical selling tips, go to our website at trustinsales.com and register. It's free. And while you're here, hit the subscribe button so you don't miss the next episode. Now, let's get back to the heart of the problem. When I look back at my early career, the biggest mistake I made, and the one I still see everybody today making, was randomness. Random conversations, random presentations, random outcomes. If a sale happened, I didn't know why. If it didn't, I didn't know why either. I was working hard, but I had no structure that consistently generated trust. That's when I began developing what became the personalization code sales method, a system based on one principle. If you consistently act in your client's best interest and show them clearly that you are doing exactly that, trust will follow. You can't fake it, you earn it. And you earn it by asking the right questions, listening deeply, and understanding what truly matters to them. Only then can you present your solution, and present that solution in a way that serves their goals, not yours. When you do that, something magical happens. The tension disappears, the pressure evaporates, and suddenly you and your client are on the same side of the table, working together towards a shared outcome. That's when selling stops feeling like, selling, and starts feeling like helping. And helping is what clients pay for. Now let's be honest, trust doesn't guarantee a sale every time. But without it, you're almost never going to make one. No trust, no sale. It really is that simple. So over this series, I'm going to show you how to build trust deliberately, step by step. We'll look at how to create it in the very first conversation, how to strengthen it through your conversations and meetings, and how to maintain it right through to the close. Because trust isn't a one-time event. It's a thread that runs through every part of the sales process. When it's strong, everything works. When it breaks, everything stops. In the next episode, I'll show you the first and most important step, how to lead with trust building in every sales conversation. It's not about clever techniques or high-pressure tactics. It's about positioning yourself so that the client genuinely believes you're on their side. So if you haven't already, hit subscribe so you don't miss it. And remember, if you want deeper practical sales tips, sign up to get them free to your inbox. I spent 46 years figuring this out, so you don't have to. And once you understand how to build and sustain trust, selling becomes so much easier, more enjoyable, and far more profitable. I'm Peter Croney, and this is Trust in Sales. I'll see you in episode 2, while your sales process must be trust-led.